put in the spoiler again. So I'm restarting my game. And next game I will cast my own game. Because I don't think Frosty did cast my game. And yeah, I'm just interested, or so I'm just going to cast my game and say what I think went wrong or what happened. So we are playing against Ezad and Yukietty. I think both of these players are just better than me and my teammate, with a lot more hours. Not in Deathmatch specifically, but in Age of Empire 3. So what we also want to do, I think we are basically, or we did the same approach as Angel of Death and Alistair really. So if people don't know how to play a deathmatch and don't have the build orders ready, then you would just try to punish them for that and end the game early, because a 30-minute game is usually not something I felt comfortable I could win, or we could win against these top players in our mind. So that was our approach. So let's jump into the game. Maybe some backstory as well, what happened. So this is actually the third time we played Great Plains, because the game crashed 2 times already. Initially I had Inca and Yukietty had Mexico, but we both swapped our civilization, so it didn't crash anymore. So maybe there's an issue with Inca on this map, or with Inca in general, but I couldn't know what it was. So I just picked Spain, and my idea was, okay, I'm just going to play aggressive and see what's going on. So I'm focusing on Yukietty, because in this game there went a lot wrong for Yukietty, and I want to see what went wrong. So first off, you can build a foundry, artillery foundry that early. What you typically also want to do, you want to use one villager for building stuff. You just want to get more barracks out. So at this point I went forward, and I'm soon having the same amount of production as him, even though he didn't went forward. So yeah, so these walls will just not help him if they're not going up. And I know I'm saying this a lot, so usually you would use one villager for producing stuff, but in this case I deliberately put more villagers on it. So with Spain you can insta-produce stuff, so that's what I want to do. And now I do have an army of pikemen. And at this point he should, if he played a normal build order, or if I would have played Dutch, I would have probably had four barracks out. Maybe let's stop here for a moment. I would have probably had 4 barracks out and some skirmishers, maybe a stable and some reiters, or even some halberdiers against Spain. So because halberdiers are pretty good against Spain at the start. Also, what you can do if you're in this situation as Dutch, or as all civilizations really, where you're getting rushed, you can send the church card. So you would have the option to react and just get units out. Because at this point, with that many pikemen in your base, there's really not much you can do, especially if you also don't have units in your deck. So yeah, so he kind of fucked up his start, so that was basically the game for him. So I think this GG wasn't even preemptive for him. I think he could have maybe saved some villagers here. He had a villager, so maybe he could have rebuilt here. Maybe he could save some villagers here and rebuild. Yeah, but this is a very hard position to come back from. So yeah, so this is what happens. If you're not having a build order and you're just getting rushed. So let's put this button back on. So next game we have the second game. Also there was some controversy because in the first game of Great Plains it looked pretty good for Ezad and Yukietty. In the second, it looked good for us, but it crashed in both times. And in the third, we would just overrun him like this game. So they were pretty pissed, and I can understand it, but it's not like we deliberately crashed the game or something. So it's just what the game was. But now let's get into this game. So in this game, we do have USA and Russia against Portuguese and Mexico. So I think USA is just the best civilization in Deathmatch. So you can rush, you can boom, you have a great late game. So there's really no weakness for them, in my opinion. You can do everything really good. Like the rush is one of the best in the game, I think. If you perform it clean, which I think I could have performed a bit better in this game, but we will see. And then you have the option to boom really fast with British immigrants. You have a great late game economy with German immigrants. You do have factories, you do have banks, you do have cost efficient units. So everything you really want. You also do have insert producing units, so in the saloon with cowboys. So they help at the start. Oh yeah, come on. Great game. Okay, I guess I cannot cast this. Oh man, this game is so frustrating. So okay, so maybe I can just jump into the next game. There's not much I can do anyway. So I can maybe just quickly summarize what happened in that game. So with the USA rush, I put Yukietty in a position where he would collapse in a 1-on-1 situation. And yeah, I was basically killing him, but my mate wasn't trading that well against Ezad. So what ended up happening was that Ezad fed Yukietty like 20k resources. And so I was fighting with 200 population, or I was fighting with 100 population-ish army against 150. So my push basically also stopped, and my mate was still on the back foot. So I'm sad that this game we couldn't cast, because that was actually a good game. But yeah, just a game, I don't know. So next game I'm playing as the Haudenosaunee, my teammate as the Ottoman, and we are playing against Germans and British. Right from the bat, I do think that British is not the best civilization for deathmatch. It is okay, but I wouldn't put them in the highest tier. And yeah, so Haudenosaunee, I think if you have played against it, you would know why it's so strong, and you will also see soon why it's so strong. So there's a few options there are a few things to do with Haudenosaunee. So first off, you have immigrants, so you don't need that many houses early. You basically also don't need villagers forward, so you can just use the tomahawks and just move forward and get a really aggressive position. I don't think there's a civilization which can punish this, just because you have them so fast. And yeah, so and what's usually happening is, or what you can do, you can even send the first to kill villager already, and the rest, the following ones, to build stuff, build a lot of barracks. With the travois, you also get a very early foundry out, so that means you can start the cannons very early. And overall, if you're slow, if you're a tiny bit slow against Haudenosaunee, you will just feel the pain very, very soon. So these walls are actually very annoying. So in this game, actually, I think it is a good idea to use one villager to build these walls if that's your game plan, or against Haudenosaunee. But you really preemptively should get out more barracks, more production. Like 4 is, I don't think it's ever really enough. And yeah, and now the Haudenosaunee spam starts with all the cannons, which are really hard to deal with, because I mean they have a hard counter with Kyberins, but they also kind of counter Kyberins. So, and they are also all-purpose kind of unit, so you can also use them to siege very well. So they are just very a very good unit. And Yukietty was complaining about lags, so he said his start was bad. But to be honest, I think when looking at this game and the last game, his start was just the same. And he asked for a rematch, and at this point, if you have this kind of army in your face, and you have this kind of army, and then expecting a rematch, I don't know, just not. Maybe I could have given it to him, but then again, like, I would have showed my entire strategy, and he would get a second chance to deal with it, and I really didn't feel like it to give it to him. So, yeah, my mate is also just playing very aggressive, doing a lot of units. So this time, Ezad also, I think the start of both of them is just very bad. So if they work on their start, I think they are contenders to win the tournament. But like this, if you... Yeah, I think Germans should just be faster than Ottoman really, so there's no reason why you should be ever in this position. Yeah, back to Yukietty. So now the cannons can just roll in, destroy everything. Another good thing with Haudenosaunee is that you have 3 types of natives, so you can just get even more stuff to protect your cannons. And yeah, so that's good. I mean, Yukietty is not trying now, he's not giving up. He's building stuff behind. This map is really not very big, so there's not many places where you can run to. And I'm also starting to kill the stuff of Ezad. So they are very put into in a position where they cannot produce much anymore, and also losing their economy and their houses. So I think they still have a lot of resources in their bank. So Yukietty still have basically all the resources in his bank, but he couldn't spend it because all his production went down early. And Ezad also has a lot of resources in the bank. So yeah, this is just what happens when you're getting rushed and are not prepared for it. So yeah, I think on other days they could have beaten us, like especially in game 2 you would see by there was a good chance of us actually losing the game. But yeah, I mean, I can do anything that the game lags and that the game crashes, and especially Yukietty didn't restart his game, so it's entirely his fault. And it's a tournament setting, so I really want to win, and I think I would give him an advantage if he knows what's coming, and yeah, so. But I think they will bounce back. They can come back to the finals, and their mechanics are just very good. If they put in like 1 day of practice, they can even win it, in my opinion. But if not, they are just losing in 5 minutes. I think. Yeah, I do agree, Nahoil. So how the Haudenosaunee start is just very oppressing. It's very easy to lose against it, and it's also not too hard to pull off. But it's also not really an auto win, so you can defend it. And what often happens is that you would over invest, and then you don't have anything after your initial push. That's what happens if you don't practice it. Yeah. Okay.